Happy holidays to all of our holly jolly vinyl heads out there. Thank you so much for spending this past year with us. If you weren't around for last Christmas, our gift to you this year is we're going to re-release our Happy Christmas by John Lennon and Yoko Ono, which was a wonderful episode. We had a great time doing it last year. So thank you again for a wonderful year, and we wish you all the best in the year to come.
Merry Christmas, Tyler.
Merry Christmas, Justin.
Hello, everyone. This is Justin and Tyler with Classic Vinyl Podcast once again to do another single.
It is that time of year again.
It certainly is. And this time, what are we going to do, Ty?
It is time to wish each other a very happy war is over Christmas.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Of course, is there war ever over? Let's be honest.
According to Yoko Ono, I just heard her say it a few times.
Good point.
War is over now. There wasn't enough,
Screaming?
Primal screaming. Yeah, that's what I'm needing.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than that.
She sounds more like a elementary school choir teacher in this one.
A different Yoko than what we're used to.
Yeah, I miss screaming Yoko.
And one day we will do the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus where the Dirty Mac sings and we get her best performance of all time.
Yeah.
Of course, today we're going to do John Lennon's Happy Christmas. War is over, if you want it.
That's right.
Let me give you a little history on Mr. John Lennon first, if you haven't heard of him or know who he is. Born on October 9th of 1940 in Liverpool, England. Founder, main writer, and co-vocalist of who I consider the best band of all time, the Beatles, if you haven't heard of them. First single John Lennon released as a solo artist was Give Peace a Chance. It was released in 1969. It was actually while the Beatles were still together. It hit number 2 in the UK, number 14 in the US. And of course, the Beatles broke up in 1970. John Lennon, certainly, after leaving the Beatles, is known for his political activism. He had the Bet In for Peace. He fought deportation in the US, FBI surveillance from the Nixon administration, and of course was ultimately shot in 1980, unfortunately. So he's known really well, especially in his solo career, for his writing and art. He's released in his solo career 11 studio albums, 3 live albums, and multiple compilations and box sets. Sold almost 25 million records worldwide as a solo artist. Imagine and Double Fantasy both reached number 1 in the UK. And Imagine, Walls and Bridges, and Double Fantasy reached number 1 in the U.S. He had 17 total albums reach the top 50 in the U.S. overall. As far as singles, he's released 25 different singles. 3 of them reached number 1 in the U.K. It was Imagine, Just Like Starting Over, and Woman. Only 2 of them reached number 1 in the U.S., and that was Whatever Gets You Through the Night, which he did with Elton John, and Just Like Starting Over. All 25 of his singles reached the top 100 in the U.S. Of course, he famously quit music from 1975 to 1980 to raise his newborn son, Sean, Ono Lennon, that is. And he returned in 1980 with Double Fantasy, but was murdered on December 8th of 1980. And it's unfortunate because you never know what we would have got from him as far as solo music, a Beatles reunion, something like that. But the one thing that did do is strengthen his legacy. There's no doubt about that.
This is a guy who's been dead for over 40 years and still has accomplished infinitely more than I ever will in my entire life.
It's a good way to look at it.
Mr. Lennon's assassin, F ya.
Yeah, because we do not speak his name.
Yeah, we don't speak his name. He is that which shall not be named.
He wanted recognition, but he's not getting it from us.
Oh, I'll recognize him.
So let me give you a little history on this song, Happy Christmas. It was released in the U.S. on December 1st of 1971, and actually not until later the next year in the UK. It was released on November 24th of 1972, and the reason for that was some kind of publishing issue Lennon was having with Northern Songs at the time, and it kind of delayed its release. But the funny thing is where it was released right at the 1st of December in US, it kind of had a hard time reaching the charts because radios didn't want to play it. They were already into the Christmas season, so it was released pretty late.
Yeah, they don't have to cut it into their regular planned broadcast, right?
Yeah, of course. And they didn't promote it much at all either. But since then, it's pretty much become a Christmas staple. It's on multiple compilations. You hear it every Christmas. I mean, I even hear it in the summertime on the Beatles channel, obviously. But this song was written by John Lennon, and Yoko Ono was actually given a writing credit for this song as well. Produced by a well-known killer, Phil Spector. And of course, on this song, here we go. There's a lot of people on this song. You got John Lennon on guitar and vocals, Yoko Ono on vocals, the Harlem Community Choir. They sing backing vocals on this. You've got May Pang, who John Lennon famously spent the Lost Weekend with out in L.A. She's on backing vocals. Nicky Hopkins, who we've talked about before in other episodes, is on piano. You've got Teddy Irwin on guitar, Jim Keltner on drums, Hugh McCracken on guitar, Chris Osborne on guitar, and Stuart Scharf on guitar. So quite a few people lent their hand on this song.
Yeah, that was a full studio.
Yeah, full studio.
Especially with a lot of kids running around.
So on the single of this, it actually did have a B-side that was called The Snow Is Falling. It was sang by Yoko, and I'm going to be completely honest, I have not heard that one.
For real?
I haven't. Well, if I have, I don't recall.
I'm shocked. I would expect you to know that one.
I've probably heard it.
Obviously, I've never heard it.
I don't recall. This song is actually on Lennon's Shaved Fish album, which is what we listened to it off of tonight. I do not have the single, and so I do not have The Snow Is Falling by Yoko. Maybe I ought to look that up and see what I can find. One kind of unique thing about this is the original 7-inch UK single was a green vinyl, which sold out pretty quick, and then they had to repress them in black.
Oh, it looked like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Here in the U.S., the song only reached number 38 on the U.S. Billboard charts because, like I said, it was released pretty late in the season. But it did reach number 9 on the Top Holiday 100, which I didn't even know there was a chart for that, but apparently there is.
Well, I'm sure Gene Autry's right up there, too.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. So it did reach number 4 in the U.K. when it was released, but it did reach number 2 right after his death, of course, where he was shot in the very 1st of December. And everything of his obviously started selling well because of that.
It's understandable. It says right in the song, for the old and the young ones, let's stop all the fight, or the near and the dear ones. I don't know. I can't remember what the line was.
And like I said, this is on his Shaved Fish album, which is what we listened to it on today. This has been on so many Christmas compilations, it's hard to even name them all. It falls all over the place. And it really was at the heart of it a protest song against the Vietnam War. John Lennon and Yoko Ono, previous 2 years to the release of this song, had really been heavy into the peace activism. And this kind of hit with this. In fact, they released before this in 12 real big cities across the world. They released their War Is Over, If You Want It, that white banner. It was all over the place. So War Is Over is another thing that I know we haven't released it yet, but we just did get done recording an episode of The Doors, Waiting for the Sun, their third studio album, where The Unknown Soldier is on there. And that is a line that you hear in that song as well, is the war is over. And we kind of talk about that in there, is what war was actually over there, because obviously the war wasn't over when that song was written in 68, and here in 71 the war wasn't over either.
Yeah, the I believe in The Unknown Soldier, the war that's over is the one in which the soldier died.
Yeah.
His war was over.
And this one, if you look at the billboards where it said war is over, underneath it said, if you want it.
That's the kind of catchphrase that is just so impressive. Like, and it wasn't for a product or anything, or a political campaign per se. I mean, this is political for sure, but like, this is something that every person in marketing is just craving, that kind of attention, right? And John Lennon got it. He threw these billboards all over the place with this simple message in black and white that, hey, the war's over if you want.
What's kind of strange about that is him and Paul McCartney were obviously at each other's throats at this time. And Paul McCartney was asked about this song, and he basically said, I really think that's wishful thinking. The war isn't over. And I can agree with that, but I also think the thought is there and the sentiment is there. John Lennon had some good anthems, going back to All You Need Is Love or things like that. And it's more the sentiment.
Well, how do you accomplish your goals if you never know what you're working towards? John Lennon wrote it down, and he verbalized, took his thoughts of what he wanted, put it down on paper, put it up on a billboard. So for Paul McCartney to say, oh, it's wishful thinking, well, of course, that's what a goal is, bud.
Yeah. And I don't blame Paul McCartney for that at all. They were at each other's throats. And Lennon obviously was more Paul McCartney's throat than anything, at least publicly. So take it for what it is at the time. I like both of them, and I don't have a favorite.
I gotta say, when it comes to their Christmas songs, I like John Lennon's Christmas song a lot better than Paul McCartney's.
Yeah, you don't like Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
The moon is up, the cops are here.
See, I don't mind that. I don't mind that song at all, but
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
and for me, I'm not really into Christmas music. If I was to listen to Christmas music, I want Bing Crosby, maybe Frank Sinatra. That's the kind of Christmas music I'm into.
Please croon at me at Christmas.
I think I could have done for some Jim Morrison crooning.
Yeah, I like, Christmas in my house growing up was Johnny Mathis. Yeah, Johnny Mathis Christmas. That was a staple in our house.
Yeah, and I could do without that myself.
I understand.
Yeah. And of course, you're critical of Paul McCartney's Christmas song to a little bit, but the one Christmas song I know you really hate is by the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. Christmas comes this time each year.
It does.
Little Saint Nick.
And I don't mind that song. It doesn't bother me like it does you.
Glad it doesn't bother you because it drives me up the wall.
But I don't really listen to it on purpose either. So
Fair.
And of course, to open this episode, we did a little whisper of Merry Christmas to each other. And that's because this song opens up with Yoko Ono whispering Happy Christmas to Kyoko and John Lennon whispering Happy Christmas to Julie. And of course, both of their children from their previous marriages.
So was this dedicated to their kids?
I don't know if it was or not, but maybe it was.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in New York and they can't go see their children back in England because I know Lennon was certainly fighting the administration on deportation and things like that. I don't know.
They were trying to get rid of him, and you can't fight somebody trying to get rid of you or kick you out of their house by getting up and walking out of the house.
Well, I think his concern at the time, and I may be wrong, but I think his concern was at the time was if he goes back to England, he was never coming back.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yes, exactly. Without the mustache. So anyways, after listening to Happy Christmas, War is Over, Tyler, what are your thoughts on this song?
Okay, so this song, I really enjoyed it. I was kind of thrown off by the opening because I think I've heard the whispering opening before, but it didn't really register with me. I was like, wait, Happy Christmas?
Well, for a long time, I thought it was Yoko saying Happy Christmas, John, and John saying Happy Christmas, Yoko.
Yeah, because Kyoko sounds a lot like Yoko, at least the second.
Well, yeah, but that's Yoko saying that.
Yeah, and that's kind of weird.
I don't know. I guess I just never really
and Julian,
listened close
John, you could see it. I mean, it is from Liverpool.
Yeah, but if you go by that theory, that would be John saying Happy Christmas, John, and Yoko saying Happy Christmas, Yoko, which is strange, but they're strange people.
Yeah.
Especially at that time.
I wish me a Merry Christmas. I wish me a Merry Christmas.
So what are your thoughts on this one?
You know, real pretty song. I love the use of the children's choir, the Harlem Community Choir. I was surprised to learn that was Yoko in there because I've heard this song. Everybody's heard this song. This is a Christmas staple, like you say. For Yoko Ono to sing this way, I really miss her primal screech. But she sings a lot like an elementary school choir teacher. A very Merry Christmas.
Well, I'm getting a little ahead of myself on my review of this song, but this is probably the easiest Yoko to listen to.
It really is.
I mean, it's just kind of normal. You know, that's what's kind of good about it.
Okay, if you've ever attended an elementary school Christmas program where the kids come out and they're performing the song, she sounds like the teacher who's trying to lead these kids along in the song, and she's singing louder and above everybody else. But it's not off-putting. She got a pretty decent voice. I really love the message. John, of course, is just classic John Lennon, and that's a horrible way to say that this is a master of music, with instruments, with singing. I know he didn't necessarily like the sound of his own voice, but I'm so pleased that this artist was willing to put his own self-consciousness aside and perform so that we could enjoy him, even if he felt self-conscious, because nobody necessarily likes the sound of their own voice. And John Lennon's no different, and it makes him human. It makes him relatable. You know, doing a podcast, we listen to our own voices all the time, and it's a little stunning or maybe off-putting because it doesn't sound, when you hear yourself on a recording, it doesn't sound like your voice does in your head when you're talking. It sounds different, and that's how it might sound to other people, and it's just kind of cringing to hear that's that what I really sound like. Some people, it really bothers them. I don't know where I'm even going with that train of thought. Let me get back to the song. It's a really sweet song about, very repetitive, that so this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year's over, and a new one's just begun. So what have you done? This war is still raging across the world, and have we done anything to stop it? Have we done anything to change that? Or are we just complacently going along and letting people do what they will? It's a real poignant message, I think. And I really like this song, especially a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, the chorus. Let's hope it's a good one, not like last year. I prefer that version. What are your thoughts?
Well, I've never heard that version.
That's how I sing it.
This song's a tough one for me. I'm not huge into Christmas music except the old standards. And this has kind of become one, and I do find myself kind of enjoying it because it's John Lennon, one of my favorite artists. It's got a nice acoustic guitar in it. There's nothing special about the song musically. The choir's a nice touch. The music adds, it sounds Christmassy. Yoko doesn't sing too bad in it. It's kind of a nice sounding Yoko. John Lennon, like you said, is John Lennon. He sounds like John Lennon. It's kind of an interesting song, being the fact that it's a Christmas song, but it's also tangled in with activism and the fact of, let's end this damn war that has no meaning. And so it's kind of interesting in that manner that John Lennon's put it together. I'm going to release you a Christmas song, but we're going to put our own little twist to it. Mm-hmm. So, there's nothing real special about the song as far as musically, but the message is strong.
Yep, he certainly knows how to show up to a Christmas party and fling a turd right into that punch bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's a good song. Like you said, it's repetitive, but you find yourself singing along to it very easily. Everybody's heard the song, as you said, but even if you haven't, after you've listened to the first verse, you can continue to sing along with it. So
yeah,
it's an important song, and I'm glad it's around.
It really is. And I don't know, that's exactly what it strikes me as. When I say turd in the punch bowl, I'm just kind of like, everybody's gone to a Christmas party and seen that one person that really gets off on reminding us that Bono's a good example. His Christmas song, "There won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time. The greatest gift they'll get this year is life." So, this is John Lennon doing that, or giving Bono the idea to do that 20 years before he did it. I like this whole thing, in spite of the fact that it really comes off as preachy. It's got a mellow enough tune that if you're just not really paying attention to the lyrics, it's fun. It's just a nice little peaceful, relaxing Christmas song.
Should we give the song rating?
Let's do it. Rating. If this is your first time listening, we're glad that you came here for our Christmas album. Let me explain our rating system.
Christmas song.
Our Christmas song. Yeah. Let me explain our rating system real quick. We go on 0 to 10 scale, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. If it's a 0, we burn it, we hate it. If it's a 10, I go out and buy it. 5 is smack dab in the middle, and that's our rating scale. So, with that being explained, anything above 5 is positive, and I'm actually going to give this one a 6. I don't feel negative towards this song anymore. There was a time in my life where I thought, I didn't like it. But you know what? I'm not giving it a 4. I'm not giving it a 5. I'm giving it a 6 because I feel very positive about this song. But that being said, it's real repetitive, real preachy. It's not really my thing. Decent Christmas song, but even as far as Christmas songs go, there's other Christmas songs I want to listen to more than this. So congratulations to John Lennon on making a good song that got a strong message out there, but that's how I feel about it. It's a 6, John. Justin, where do you stand on this?
Well, I'm going to rate it a little higher than you, and maybe that's just simply because it's got John Lennon in it. I think it stands up to any Christmas song that was made after the 70s, and I'm not into the newer Christmas music. Like I said, I'm into the standards, the older ones. You don't like
Mistletoe?
No, but okay. I don't think this is as much as a Christmas song as it is a protest song. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's a good mix, but I give this song a 7 because I don't listen to it that often, but if I'm going to hear it around Christmas time, hey, It's John Lennon singing a Christmas song. That's the only one he's got. So yeah, 7.
And he's still singing it, and the other commonality is that we're still at war somewhere in the world. So what's changed?
Not much.
We haven't learned, have we?
But that's John Lennon. Happy Christmas. War is over if you want it. And Merry Christmas to all you out there listening to us. We appreciate you. Send us an email at classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time,
Yuletide greetings. Thank you so much for listening to Classic Vinyl Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Classic Vinyl Podcast for updates, and also share us with your music-loving friends.